The Season 2 finale of The Walking Dead. Dead City was a gripping end to a season that had its ups and downs. While some earlier episodes dragged or felt uneven, Episode 8 delivers everything you'd hope for in a finale: powerful performances, emotional closure, intense action, and a whole lot of character growth. For those of us who've been with Maggie and Negan since the original Walking Dead days, this episode felt like the emotional payoff we've been waiting years for. The Dama's fate was the first big twist. After she appeared to burn in a past episode, many assumed her story was over. But, in classic Walking Dead fashion, she survived. She pulled a bold move, freeing herself and tossing a walker into the flames to fake her death. This reveal instantly amped up the stakes for Season 3. Her ongoing involvement with Herschel, Maggie's son, ensures that this sinister thread will continue unraveling and pulling Maggie back into conflict, whether she likes it or not. And Maggie definitely had a lot to process this episode. Her relationship with Negan reached its most volatile point yet, and every moment between them was filled with tension. Would she finally kill him like she promised herself and her son? That question hovers over every scene, especially when Herschel bluntly asks Maggie to end Negan's life in exchange for their reunion. But this episode doesn't take the predictable path. Instead, it delivers something deeper. One of the most shocking and satisfying scenes of the episode came when Negan dealt with Bruegel, brilliantly played by Kim Coates, and arguably one of the best new characters in Season 2. Bruegel was a slippery villain who knew how to manipulate others, especially by targeting Negan's soft spot for Ginny. Once Bruegel tried to use Ginny as leverage, you just knew he had crossed a line Negan wouldn't tolerate. And Negan? He went full savior's mode, throwing it back to when he terrorized Rick's group with his infamous lineup game. Just like those chilling moments from The Walking Dead Season 6 and 7, Negan forced Bruegel and Pearlie into a lineup. It was a cruel echo of the past. Fans who've been watching since the early days probably felt their stomachs drop. But instead of using his bat Lucille like he did with Glenn and Abraham, Negan went even darker. Bruegel's death was particularly gruesome. He had wanted to burn Negan alive using methane, so Negan flipped the script and did the same to him. That was cold, calculated, and horrifying. The whole sequence inside the church felt like a slow-burning action film climax. You could feel the pressure building, and when the moment came, it hit hard. Bruegel's end wasn't just a revenge kill. It was a message. Then came the moment fans were bracing for. The final confrontation between Maggie and Negan. After everything they've been through, it all led up to this. Maggie, carrying the burden of Glenn's death for years, finally had Negan at her mercy. And it wasn't just emotional. She physically overpowered him, caught him off guard to save Pearlie, and then stood over him with Lucille, the very bat he used to kill her husband. It was terrifying, haunting even. Seeing Maggie walk toward a crawling, beaten Negan with Lucille in hand felt like a full-circle nightmare. But instead of swinging the bat like Negan did back then, Maggie did something far more powerful. She chose not to kill him. And that decision changed everything. The weight of her choice wasn't lost. Ginny's death, and her reanimation as a walker, shattered Negan. His heartbreak was written all over his face, and Maggie saw that. She saw the man who had lost, who had suffered, who had tried to protect someone and failed. In that moment, Maggie didn't see the monster from her past. She saw someone who was broken just like her. And instead of seeking revenge, she offered him the same thing he never gave Glenn: mercy. That sequence was so quiet yet thunderous in emotion. No big speeches, just raw feelings. Both Lauren Cohan and Jeffrey Dean Morgan absolutely nailed their performances. It was heartbreaking, cathartic, and dare I say beautiful. From that point on, it felt like a new chapter began. Maggie chose peace. Negan lost the only person who gave him hope. And together, without needing to say a word, they silently agreed to move forward. Not as enemies, but as allies with a complicated past. Their dynamic was reborn in that moment, and it might be one of the most powerful shifts the franchise has ever pulled off. That said, not everything landed perfectly. The storyline around Herschel, Maggie's son, still feels frustrating. Yes, he's a teenager and he's angry. He feels abandoned. That's understandable. But his decision to stay with the Dama and send his mother away? That felt like a step too far. It doesn't sit right, especially after everything Maggie's done to protect him. Frankly, Herschel's whole arc this season didn't do much for the show. It slowed things down and distracted from the more compelling parts. If Dead City Season 3 wants to stay strong, it needs to let Herschel and the Dama go do their own thing for a while, and let Maggie focus on the bigger battle ahead, not chasing her son around again. That would just be repeating the same story beats. At its core, Dead City Season 1 worked so well because of the explosive chemistry between Maggie and Negan. That tension, that shared trauma, that constant push and pull. It made every scene electric. Season 2 drifted away from that dynamic, giving them separate paths and less screen time together. And honestly, that was a mistake. The finale proves what we've known all along. The show thrives when Maggie and Negan are front and center, sharing scenes and challenging each other. Now that they've reached a place of reluctant trust and emotional understanding, the possibilities for Season 3 are endless. New York City is in chaos. The Dama is still a threat, and a full-blown invasion from New Babylon looms large. But Maggie, Negan, and Pearlie, now finally on the same side, are ready to fight back. There's something poetic about how far these characters have come. From brutally killing each other's loved ones to standing side by side in battle. From mistrust and rage to quiet understanding. The Maggie-Negan story has always been the emotional spine of this series. And now it's stronger than ever. Season 3 has a real opportunity here, to keep building on this hard-won dynamic, to explore the gray areas of redemption, forgiveness, and survival. If the finale is any sign, the future of Dead City is looking very promising. Let's just hope it keeps leaning into what made this episode so good: raw emotion, moral complexity, and that tense, unbreakable bond between two of The Walking Dead's most compelling characters.